This is Talk It Over, the only dating relationship podcast that begins in bed. Make the time to subscribe. Now let's pull back those sheets.
Can we talk about the relationships? Can we talk it over, see how we can build? Only you and I know that's the way it goes. In this big old bed, they'll talk it over, so talk it over. Can we talk it over? We can talk it over. Can we talk it over in bed? Talk it over. Can we talk it over? Can we talk it over? Oh, in bed.
Yo, it is your man, Big O, back for another episode of Talk It Over, and we have made it to 2021, even though the past couple of days have been crazy, following on the heels of 2020, but, it's all good. We are here bringing in the new year again with a hot fire topic. I am joined, of course, by my lovely co-host, Trish, who is holding it down in my absence. Trish, how you doing?
I'm fantastic. Hey, y'all. Hey.
So
We
has the
missed
new
you
year
last
been good?
week.
I appreciate that. I was out visiting family and taking a well-needed rest from the hectic life of New York City. So
Listen, I know. I know.
and you were actually in New York City, right?
I ended up, yes.
You waited till I
ended up
left. I had just asked you when you were going to come visit Big O, and you said you needed an invitation. Then I leave and find out that you in New York City.
Damn,
So
Gina.
I took that as my invitation. I was gonna pop up, surprise you, be like, "Hey, boo,"
See, this is how
and then you disappeared
this is
on
how
me.
problems start. Just popping up, nobody, no heads up, no telling who I got in the big old bed, and then here you come.
Listen, that ain't no issue. That ain't no issue.
All right, well, I'll keep that in mind. It may not be an issue for you, but I gotta cover that with cover all bases. But it's good. It's good to be back. It's good to have you back as well.
Thank you.
And I'm excited for today. So I'm excited about this panel of guests that we have. Let me go ahead and bring them in. Longtime veteran of the podcast we haven't heard from in quite a while. My bro, Leon, big brother Leon, what's going on?
Nothing much.
How you been, man?
I'm well, brother. I'm well. Feeling
all
good.
Right.
Made it to the new year and excited for the new challenges that we're gonna face and continue.
Yeah, man. I hadn't heard from you in a while. I thought they might have shipped you off. I was like, wait a minute. We got any conflicts going on around the world? Did they send Leon? Did they deploy him?
Hey, man, don't be giving the impression that I'm in the service. I don't play that. I take that very seriously. I have
Gotcha.
respect for our people and
absolutely
forces. But now I'm here.
All right. We're glad to have you with us and glad to get your voice as we dig in on this topic. And of course, Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Moving on to Miss Bree, bringing in Miss Bree with the T. Where are you?
I'm right here. Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. It's always a pleasure to have you on because I know you're going to cut through all the nuance and get to the heart of any topic that we're talking about.
I'm here to bring the drama.
Yeah, Bree is quick to pull cards. There you go, Leon. See, I knew Leon was going to say.
Hey, man.
Bree pulls cards quick. And it's always a fun time when you're around.
Thank you.
And also
I'm
a relative newcomer, but although she's very, very quickly making a presence for herself amongst the panel, Miss Jennifer Infantino. How are you today?
Great. I'm doing great. Thanks.
So Jen, if you don't mind, and if you want, I can do it, but if you don't mind, just let our listeners who may not have heard the last podcast that you were on, and this is their first time getting to know you, let them know a little bit about what you do and who you are and the perspective that you bring to the Talk It Over family.
Yeah, so I am a pleasure coach. I help people expand the erotic wisdom they have about their own bodies so that they can tap into their intuition and their creativity and bring all of that into their relationships and into the way they're approaching their whole lives, actually.
Oh, wow. Okay. So can you take a relatively, let's say, mundane lover and raise them to the caliber of like superstar status?
If
okay.
First off, Who's gonna classify themselves as a relatively mundane lover?
I don't know who would classify themselves. I mean, you have to go look through your experiences and say, hey, I don't know.
That's wild.
Nice. I think Jen and I could both speak to this. So really quickly, I don't know who all remembers this from the last time Jen was on. I'm studying to become a relationship, love, and sex coach at the same school that Jen went to, which is how we met.
What?
Yeah.
We got to have two pleasant coaches on here. This show's about to get rocking. We're gonna have definitely attract some new listeners for sure.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, and new listeners and just really hoping to educate people on that area of their lives in general. And I think Jen can speak to this as well. You surprise a lot of people don't know and are trying to become better. It's like, I feel like it's part of this whole self-awareness like
movement
that people are now delving into. Like, I'm a mediocre lover. I know I'm a mediocre lover. I want to make it better. So while they might not be screaming it to the mountaintops for everybody to know, they are saying it, because I definitely, since embarking on this journey, friends come to me like, I can't make my wife orgasm. I can't make my husband orgasm. I can't do this. And I'm like, whoa.
How did y'all get the wife and husband status?
All of that.
Wait a minute.
So I think
they skipped some steps.
Yeah, like there are a lot of people in this world that we know and don't know who you might think are awesome lovers, or they brag about how awesome they are, but Jen, sure you can speak to it as well. Like
it's all subjective anyway, right?
Yeah,
the eye of the beholder. You know what they say, different strokes for different folks.
Yeah,
that nature.
Literally,
so, and also I want to mention that we got Hassan, who may be joining us at some point to bring in his perspective, which is always welcome. So how about we get to this feel-good story of the day? You guys feeling ready to listen to some good news after the week that we've had?
Yeah, let's do it. Please bring it in.
All right. So Trish, this story is actually coming from Trish. Trish found this. Now, Trish, you want to bring this in, or you want me to bring this in?
Absolutely. So this story comes out of San Rafael, California. And this story is about a homeless man named Sean Curry, who's 57. So
no relation to Steph, y'all, even though he's in California.
So Sean has been homeless for several years. And on one particular day, about a couple of days ago, about a week ago now, actually, he found a wallet in a dumpster where he usually dumpster dives, looking for, food and different that he can use and just basically to survive and get by. Well, on this particular day, he found a small wallet. He opened it up and realized that it belonged to an 80-year-old woman that lived about 6 miles away from where he was. In it, there was a business card that had the woman's information. He also had her driver's license and debit cards, credit cards, a bunch of different stuff. So he decided to get in touch with the owner because, of course, there was a business card with her number on it. When he basically called her up, she was ecstatic. She was so happy about getting back her belongings. I mean, as all of us would be. I've lost a wallet a time or two and lost it and never found it. And it's a lot to have to contact people and, cancel it.
Yeah, you ain't had no money in that wallet. That's why you never found it. They ain't want to bring it to you.
I was young. None of us had no money.
Ain't no money in here.
So either way, she agreed to meet up with him and to get the wallet back. On the day that she lost her wallet, she happened to be with her granddaughter. So, she was distraught. She called her granddaughter, they both went back trying to find it. Of course, they couldn't find it. So her getting it back was really, really, it meant something to her. So her granddaughter, the 12-year-old, and this is where the story gets good, decided, since it happened on the first day of Hanukkah, that she would do an act of kindness for this gentleman, Sean, who delivered back the wallet. So she had her birthday was coming up. So this little girl, all in the same week, her birthday was coming up. So grandma lost the wallet. The little girl had a birthday. They find the wallet. The little girl, Michaela, decides to do something great. She tells all of her friends and family, instead of gifts this year, she decides she wants to raise money for an organization. That organization ended up being a donation for Curry, a gentleman who
found the wallet.
So because his good deed, she felt like he did this really great deed and helped out her family, she decided to help him out. And her friends and family were able to raise a little over $475 on that day for him.
Okay.
They have then since started a GoFundMe page to support him through the pandemic. And they, have just been very instrumental in his holiday, in this, and raising his holiday spirit.
That's
nice.
Yeah, it's just a really, really good story. I mean,
that's beautiful.
I think, especially with being a pandemic right now, I just need to go find a wallet or two and I'll be straight. That's all I have to do.
Leon, ain't nobody giving you no money.
Leon come back from tour. He just got off the road. Coming back, he said it's rough out there.
I gotta pay rent, baby. I gotta find a wallet. $2 this month. I'm doing my best. All right.
He gonna roll up in a fly fitted and a hoodie with them earpods, and they gonna be like, "You don't need nothing. Thank you, though. We appreciate it."
So I wanna introduce really quickly a newcomer to the show, and she is more than welcome to chime in on the topic at any point, even though she wants to observe and just see how we do things. So Shanice, I want to welcome you to the Talk It Over podcast and family, and please feel free at any time if you want to chime in, even now if you want to introduce yourself to the listeners. If not, it's no problem. But yeah, welcome to the family.
Hello. Well, thank you for having me.
No problem at all. We're excited to have you with us.
I'll definitely introduce myself right quick. I'm S.L.Ashby or Shanice. I go by either one. I work for Swagger Magazine. I do their marketing and branding. So if anybody ever needs a feature in a magazine, just hit me up on my Facebook.
You about to get blown up by everybody on this panel twice.
Yeah, we like to support, businesses and stuff like that. So definitely, if you have a business or a brand, if you're just doing something great or phenomenal in your community, like I said, just hit me up. You can find me on IG at the Brand Engineer, and that's D with 2 E's. Or you can find me on my Facebook at Shanice Latrell Ashby. And I also do marketing and branding on the side. So I do like websites, anything. Because I
need help.
You need help? Okay.
I need help with my social media because I'm lazy. I don't care enough to do it. So
social media is kind of simple, but a lot of things are changing right now with social media. Not to get off the tangent, but I have to say this. A lot of things are changing with social media right now. I'll say this. Get into Reels. Do Reels. I can go into the whole backstory about it, but just get.
I draw the line at TikTok. I'm not joining. I'm not doing
Reels on IG.
Right. Reels are
it's their version of TikTok.
No, Reels are on
because Instagram is changing. Instagram is changing.
All right. Listen, I've been out of the loop for like 2 weeks, and y'all know the nation is like tearing itself apart. I ain't got time to be keeping up with who got what video service and picture service. I'm trying to run a podcast here, and y'all coming at me, Leon. I'm feeling kind of emotionally attacked and personally attacked.
Okay, it's all right, brother.
Trish, where Trish at? Let me get my co-host in here. Trish got to bring in the topic of the day because me and Leon I'm about to go on mute.
Anyhow,
can you let us know the topic of the day? And then you can go be the caretaker.
All right, so the topic for today, and this is going to be a juicy one, is how soon is it too soon to begin dating after a breakup? So
how soon is too soon
to begin dating after a breakup?
I feel like me and Bree about to be on the same page on this one.
Oh,
right. Same day. Ain't no too soon.
With Bree then. Go. Listen, Bree, it's the first time we meet. So hey, boo, hey. But go ahead.
Hey.
Or is yours?
Listen, like said, do your thing. You know, right? No, that's probably way too soon. You probably still emotionally processing things, but I feel like it's up to you. A lot of people, especially the younger generation, we have this idea that it's up to society to decide when we should start dating someone else after a breakup. If I start dating tomorrow and I just broke up with someone yesterday, then my friends are going to look at me like, you're moving too fast and, you're this, that, and the third. But it's completely up to you. If you feel healed enough emotionally.
You got pros in different area codes. That's all. Hey, you can't be mad if your stock is valuable and you're like, hey, you know what? This one ain't want it. I'm on to the next one, on to the next.
Exactly. And that's another thing too. I think it's also about knowing your worth. Once you know your worth, it's like, okay, it makes it that much easier to identify that this person that you're interacting with, talking to, whatever, dating, is not
Mhm.
valuing your worth. See you later. And now this person, I'm noticing that you're kind of valuing my worth. I'm gonna give you a chance.
Do you think that could also be kind of like a segue into an emotional trap? Because what if you don't actually take the time to, like, let's say, the breakup happened and, there's that reflection period that you might not get on, things that you enjoyed, things that you didn't enjoy, growth, things that you
Right.
learned about yourself. Do you feel like quite possibly if you just move on to the next, and I was advocating it, but on a more serious note, do you think that kind of stunts your ability to reflect? Or do you think like you can do both?
I think you can do both. I think it depends on length and like how much was um
Investing.
yeah, into the
Uh,
relationship, like, because length and time plays a major role, like,
yeah.
but there's also that person who's like, I've been at my breaking point for a while now. It's just I'm just now,
Uh,
speaking up, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. You
so
were
it
you
can,
emotionally going from the relationship long before the ties are cut.
right.
So
Yeah.
in scenarios such as that, where maybe you've been at your breaking point, you wanted to let
For a while.
go, do you still give it a period of time before you start like dating? I mean, or looking for someone, or I mean, you've been emotionally checked out of the relationship. You officially made it official where we're not together. Do you still give it time?
So you're saying that the emotional checkout might have been a grace period
Yeah.
that you are
That even
big brother.
right.
What you think, Leon? Let's let
I,
Leon chime in.
no, I mean, I'm just listening to y'all.
I put him on
But
the spot.
not no, I don't care about that.
Uh,
Sometimes it's good to just listen and just observe. But
Leon, like I'm checking out right now.
I feel this is my grace period, nigga.
Right.
No, but like I was thinking about this yesterday, and I even asked my girlfriend. I was like, what do you think is a good amount of time between dating or house? Because I looked at the question and I thought to myself, I feel like this the better I phrase the question like, how much time would you give yourself for another relationship? Right? Because saying how soon is too soon is subjective for everybody. You know what I mean? So I can't tell you if you just got out of a relationship and like 2 months later you're like, oh, I want you to meet so and so, and I'm like, all right, bro, she make you happy, cool. If you feel like you're emotionally ready for that, great. But I think because I was thinking about myself, obviously I can't speak for anyone else. I thought, it depends on the length of time of the relationship, right? And also like how serious were you in that relationship? Because some people, they just kind of like stay boyfriend, girlfriend, boyfriend, boyfriend, girlfriend, girlfriend, however you, identify. And that's as far as it gets.
Mm-hmm.
Or they move in together, right? Or they move in together and they plan to get engaged, right? Or they are engaged and then they break up, right? Or they might even be married. I was once married. So it's like I think about those things, and like the length of time of the relationship, I think, should predicate how long you give yourself to heal, like
Right.
after.
Okay.
Obviously, if you've been with somebody for 10 years, I'm not saying you gotta wait another 10 years to be with somebody, but you shouldn't be. That's a whole ass decade. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
you've
Right.
gone
Right.
to at
Yeah.
least 2 presidents, like
But
you need to give yourself some
Right. Some
time.
healing
to
time.
to be fair, I mean, dating is not necessarily a relationship. So I
Right.
get what you're saying. You don't want to
Okay,
wait that long
okay.
to get in a
That's
relationship,
that's true.
but dating
Okay.
is not necessarily a relationship. But I do want to hear from Shanice, the brand engineer, helping me out with all my branding needs and marketing needs. Chime in here. You're very welcome to get in at any point in time.
Okay, so from my experience and from my point of view, it's like too soon is when you're not healed, basically. And
Mm-hmm.
then someone mentioned being emotionally checked out. Well, what about spiritually checked out? Because I don't know about y'all, but I believe in soul ties, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So you can be emotionally checked out from someone, but what about the baggage and all the stuff, you know what I'm saying, that they brought to your table when y'all were in a relationship? Because you can't go in another relationship and you're like,
carrying baggage.
You're not doing it like XYZ, or he did this or he did this, you know? So that makes a huge that plays a part as well. Yeah, I was gonna say something else and then my mind went blank.
No worries. That's why you got a panel.
So do you think, like, would you recommend someone within that time? Because like I've been at moments where I was spiritually checked out. You know, like I had to regather myself before even considering entertaining someone else, you know, whether it was just flirting, conversation, whatever. But would you recommend someone to still kind of be interactive and date while they're in that spiritual healing process?
That's a difficult one. I think it depends on where you're at mentally.
Bree trying to bring down the house right now.
and
trying to get us some tears going on.
And I say that because some people can multitask, you know, they can focus on themselves and they can focus on other people, but the average person cannot do that. So It's like you're pouring from a half cup, you know, like once you and
Bree is half woman, half amazing. You know,
it's like okay, imagine a teacup, right, on a saucer. And the teacup, it's overflowing, right? You're the teacup, you're overflowing, right? Well, really, I think you will want to give love from the saucer instead of the cup, because that's the overflow love, if that makes sense.
Right.
So until you're like completely good with yourself, like you're comfortable, and when I say good, I'm talking about doing shadow work, like you're comfortable being alone, being by yourself, you know, you can process things with clarity, and I mean the whole 9 yards. Once you get to that point and just focus on self, then I don't think you should. And it took me like years, like I'm just, you know, being able to process that and understand it and internalize it, because it's a difference from interpreting something and internalizing it, you know? So I've just been able to internalize that and come to peace with that. And like I said, not everybody can do that, but that's what I had to do. I just had to step back from the table and be like, hey, look, it's all about me now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I can't go into the new year like this. But like I said, some people are different. Some people can focus on themselves and get themselves together and still be out there mixing. So you just have to find out what's comfortable and, you know, what you can do.
Right. So, it's about knowing yourself and
that healing
to know yourself.
That healing portion. So let's hear from Jen. I want to hear from Jen. What are your thoughts on this topic, as well as, let's say somebody does kind of maybe get into a dating scene a little bit early, hasn't fully given that healing, that moment to heal, and what's a term that's commonly thrown as, you know, this is the rebound phase, right? So is rebounding actually a part of the healing phase, or is it, you know, to kind of, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, my thoughts are an extension of what Shanice was saying, that I think that a lot depends on how clean the breakup was and how honest people were with each other during the relationship. Like if that was all really messy and people weren't speaking their truth, and then the breakup was hostile and, you know, lots of mudslinging happening, that like all of that just gets slimed onto the next relationships you have, because you're not really, like you are the common denominator moving into the next relationship. So whatever dysfunction there was there that didn't get fixed or healed in the relationship, I think will show up in the next one. As an individual address it.
Triggers are happening.
So I guess my thing is like, is it possible though? Like, okay, so the goal is to be healed for your next relationship, right?
No, but I feel like the goal is to be healed for yourself.
I mean, yeah, definitely. But so that way, that when you're entering a relationship, you know, because all right,
you bring the best person, your best version.
Exactly, right?
Right, so with no baggage, no.
Right, yeah, because we're thinking about relationship wise, right? If you're healing naturally, you should be doing that for yourself. But relationship wise, right? I feel like in that process, it should be okay to date as many people as you want to, you know, like, because that's how you're going to kind of learn
Now
what
we're
your
talking my
boundaries
language.
are.
Okay.
You know, right?
Now we're talking my language. I do
All right.
believe the rebound is a healing phase.
Right. And see, to kind of like your point earlier, when we were talking, like I understand that obviously dating and relationships aren't one and the same. However, if you are in a process of your own personal rebound and you're interacting with people and they don't know that, it can be detrimental if they think that you are in a different space. So I would say that if you have been, let's say, in a relationship for quite some time that didn't go well, and you are now deciding, you know what, okay, I'm not ready for a relationship, but I don't want to just be to myself. If you are going to be engaging with people, you have to communicate that. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it's like,
that's default. You definitely, you can't
well, a lot of
start
people
off
don't,
anything.
though.
Yeah,
a lot
that's
of people
true.
don't.
That
So a
is
lot
true.
of people
They
would be
start
like,
off,
I'm rebounding, and I just thought you would understand that, and that was
or
it.
you just say, hey, listen, I just got out of a relationship. I'm not looking for a long-term
Yeah, that's a trap right there.
relationship. And
But
That is
that's
definitely
also a
I agree with
flag.
Leon.
That's
Yeah.
also
What?
a flag.
What'd you
Nah,
say,
that's a flag for
Trish?
y'all, not for everybody.
said
Some
that's
people
also
understand that. Some
No, but
people
what'd
are
you,
like,
what'd you
listen,
say, Trish?
I said I agree with Leon on that actually. Like, I
yeah.
feel like a lot of it
I
has to
want to hear
do
you say it
with
again.
Here we go. He just wanted validation. You know,
Oh my God.
he's in his bag right now.
That's the last time
Leon
I
just
agree
wanted
with
to be
Leon, okay?
validated. So we're gonna have to play that back several times. He's going to focus on the playback. He's just going to rewind to that spot.
Me and Trish don't always agree. That's why. So I'm just like, all right, cool.
So hold on. I want to ask because I don't think the question got. So because I was the only one that said yes, dude. Does anybody else feel like the rebound can be part of the healing process?
Yes, I agree.
And again, as long as that rebound is not, like Leon said, you're not misleading anybody and you're just being honest and open with where you are emotionally and in the dating sphere, right? And I've seen, back to what Jen was saying, I've experienced both, where the breakup was messy, dramatic, and there was a lot of mud that was slung. And I did come into the next relationship transferring a lot of the baggage that I did not personally heal from into that. And that was recurring. And I was like, oh, that's why I was like, oh, triggers. I was like, I've seen that happen. Where I was like, oh, I'm the problem? It's like, I can't be the problem. No way. I can't be the problem. It's not me.
Right. I'm the victim here.
Right. Not me.
I'm the
victim. And then and I've also experienced, going through a breakup, and like I said at the beginning of the podcast, same day, moving on, and it became a flourishing, beautiful relationship. It wasn't expected. I didn't go into it looking like that, but it was just like, oh, hey, this is so much easier. And it did help because of the ease. I think I was able to heal a lot quicker, right? Because there was no pressure or obligation to make this current thing a full-fledged relationship. It's like it goes where it goes.
So I have a question really quickly, and anyone can answer this. There are different stages in the dating process. So of course, when you break up with someone and you meet someone new, you don't immediately start full-fledged dating them. You go through this talking and getting to know each other process.
The courting phase,
right? We've talked about this on other shows. Do you guys think that it's okay to just casually talk to people? Not necessarily date, but casually talk to people while still healing from a breakup?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I casually talk to people while I'm in a relationship.
No. Next podcast, O ain't gonna be available.
Right. They were like, yo, is no longer available to host.
Trish,
You don't know what happened to him.
Trish will be the main host.
Yes. It's like,
my page is down. Can't nobody find them. Can't nobody call them.
It keeps going straight to voicemail. It's the weirdest thing.
So I agree. Who else? Y'all say yes? Bree, Jen?
Yeah.
Sorry. And I asked this question because, here we are talking about breaking up and then rebounding. And I feel like for someone to be a rebound, they have to be in a relationship, which means I'm going. You don't think?
No, that's not my definition. I mean, everybody has different definitions. I'm not saying yours is wrong. It's just not. I don't share that definition. I feel
wait. Just before I chime in, what are you saying exactly? Can you be clear on
what I'm saying is, if we go through a talking phase, let's say we go through 2-3 months of just talking. I've been very honest. I've said, I just got out of a relationship. We've gone through this talking phase and now we commit to dating. I feel like if we didn't give each other that time and that opportunity to get to know each other and for me to process whatever it is I came out of, by the time we get to dating, it's no longer a rebound. Like, you're just my next relationship. I don't think it.
So
you think
if you didn't do all of that, you would consider it a rebound. So the absence of the time and the work and the healing and all that stuff means that if you're in a dating relationship, that is the rebound.
Well, again, okay, so it depends. It depends on what we've talked about. It depends on our communication.
Okay.
I've been open and honest with you to let you know, like, hey, I just got out of something. And, while we're talking, yes, I like you. Yes, you like me, but we're not dating until I've completely healed. Now that I'm healed and I'm ready to devote myself to you or be in a relationship with you, I think then it's not really considered a rebound. It's just your next relationship. But if we don't go through that whole process, and then if we don't go through that same process, and it's just like, oh, here I am, here you are, let's start dating tomorrow, then that's a rebound. I don't feel like, again, like he said, that you haven't done the proper work.
Going back to your original question, where you asked if you think it's okay to be talking to multiple people after a relationship, by that very definition, then you're going to have just multiple rebounds just happening at the same time then, right? Like, you're going to just be like, hey, let's talk. I'm not ready for a relationship, but, I like you, you like me. Hey, let's talk. I'm not ready for a relationship. I like you, you like me.
Yeah.
But, you know what I'm saying? Like,
what's wrong with that?
This is a great
no, listen, I didn't say there was anything wrong with it, but I'm just trying to understand your actual it's like which one it is.
Throwing all these questions out.
Okay.
I think I've been on all spectrums of this. So I'm just trying to get a feel for like how we all feel about rebounding and talking and dating right after coming out of a relationship, So
let's let Hassan interject. Because Hassan's been quiet for a while. He definitely, when he speaks.
Greetings to all. Yeah, I've been just listening. I got some stuff going on in the background, but rebounding is a great subject. And there are just endless situation variables depending the dynamics of the situation. I can relate on just so many levels. But I just experienced an example of a rebounding with a previous relationship that was over years ago, and it just come to light like today. Just today, this morning, I spoke to the young lady, right, who I hadn't talked to in about 10 years, and she told me that she was in love with me, that she was like deeply in love with me, but I didn't know she was deeply in love with me because I was playing. She was for real and I was playing. And when she determined that she wasn't going to be able to get what she wanted out of it, she abruptly left and she jumped into something else as a rebound. And she immediately, like the first time she got pregnant, had a child with that person, and it changed the whole trajectory and the direction of the way she was going in her life, right? Mm-hmm. And that was a wow moment for me because, I was like, wow, I was just somewhere else. And when I met her, I was in a rebound stage myself because I had just broken up from a relationship that I had been in for over 10 years. Mm-hmm. So I was just looking to get outside of my emotions to not feel that discomfort that came along with being in that space. And so I it's like there was no when did the passion end for one and begin for another, because I was still deeply in the emotions of being involved with the past. So this is a really complex every situation is different, and every individual situation is different. I mean, I personally often use rebounding as a way to just get outside of the emotional uncomfortability that I didn't want to deal with, right? So I would stuff it away, submerge myself into other activities so I wouldn't feel. And then all of a sudden I wake up and I'm in another relationship that I don't really want to be in, that might have some outstanding sensations about it, whether sexually, visually, financially, or illusionally.
I see the wheels turning in Jen. I want to definitely get your take on this.
So yeah, man. That's complex.
Yeah, no, I finish your thought, Hassan, but I definitely want to get Jen's take, because Jen is, for all intents and purposes, the closest thing to, I mean, you are a relationship and coach, and sex coach. So this is kind of right up your alley with being able to see all of the layers that Hassan is talking about and the complexities that he's talking about by what drives someone to, as he said, get involved in a situation that he really didn't, necessarily want to be emotionally committed to, and everything in between.
Yeah, I think rebound relationships can be super healthy and healing.
Yes.
I think it doesn't matter. Leon was saying about like the honesty. I think the honesty point is so important. As long as there isn't anything I could put out there on the internet and ask for that there isn't someone who is also looking for it. Like, some people are looking for casual, some people are looking for long-term. As long as you're really clear what you're looking for. I know when I got divorced, this is many years ago, and I started dating, I was like, oh my goodness, please don't talk to me about like, do I want kids or not? Do I want to get married or not? Where do I want to live? I just want to go to dinner and remember that relationships are fun.
Exactly.
Right.
Like, this is supposed to be fun. And so when I started dating after I got divorced, that's what I focused on. Like, this is a good person. I enjoy spending time with them, and let's just do fun things.
Enjoy that moment.
Right. Yeah.
Right. It doesn't have to necessarily turn into this heavy, like we're going to go down this traveling road together, arm in arm. And yeah, and I think to everyone's point, especially to some, we always say context is key, right? No two situations, no matter how similar they may appear, are exactly alike.
Right.
And so I think I would like to get a read from everybody. What do you think would be the optimal amount of time? Let's say we were able to get rid of all of the distractions of the rebound and just focus specifically on the healing after the breakup, right? What do you think would be the optimal amount of time? I know everybody moves at different speeds, and a lot of it is determined by, how much you were attached to the relationship in the first place. But yeah, I want y'all to think that over. Let's take a quick break to get a word from our sponsors. When we come back, I want you guys to, give me what you think might be the optimal amount of time to heal from a relationship that has ended, unfortunately.
Want a wildly satisfying life? Increase your PQ, your pleasure intelligence. I help vulva-bodied people turn on their turn-on and transform their lives. You can find me at juicygen.com. That's JUICYJENN.com. You are listening to Talk It Over, the only dating relationship podcast that begins in bed.
All right, and we're back. Thank you for listening to Talk It Over. Today's topic we are batting around is how soon is too soon to get into a relationship after a breakup, or start dating, not even necessarily get into a relationship, but just start dating after a breakup. And the thing, what I posed to the panel before we went on break was, let's take dating and relationship out of the context and just focus on the healing nature that has to come inevitably at the end of a relationship. And I just want to get a read to see if the answers vary, or if there's some kind of, unspoken standard of an amount of time that you think is reasonable or should be taken for that individual. Anybody? Leon, Bree, Trish, Jen, what do you think?
I think that it doesn't have to be super linear. Like, these things can be happening at the same time. You can be out there dabbling in the dating world and also, figuring out your contribution to what didn't work out in your last relationship. I think they can be happening at the same time. I don't think you have to only heal for a year.
Yeah, no, I'm not asking, I'm not saying it can't happen. I was just saying in a world where we were able to say, all right, I'm just going to take, I'm not going to date. I'm just going to focus on myself. is there a certain amount of time that you think would be the standard? Right? Is there a certain amount of time? Let's say somebody says 1 week, and everybody's like, "That's crazy. That's not possible. You can't do that." And then somebody says 8 months, and they're like, the ruling majority is like, that's a little bit much. Like, how much do you have to heal? Like, is there anywhere? Trish, what do you think? Help me out here, Trish. What do you think is the standard?
Okay, so I honestly believe like a solid month. You should like hang out by yourself for like a month. Like get to relearn things that you like.
30 days.
Yeah, 30 days. I say give anything 30 days.
One menstrual cycle. Got it. Okay, cool.
Hey, you agreed with him. You agreed with him. We got it on record. We got it on record.
I just wanted to be very clear on what you got.
We got it on record.
I say, give it 30 days. In 30 days, I feel like, then you can start to venture back out. It's still, the wound might still be fresh depending on how the breakup went. Jen talked about it earlier. If it was a good breakup, if it was a bad breakup, maybe you're still dealing with emotions. But I think in 30 days, you've had a little bit of time to focus on what it is that you need. Like
now, let me throw a monkey. Does that mean 30 days with no contact with the ex? Like, what happens if the ex contacts you on day 29? You almost made it to 30 days. And then day 29, here comes the drama. Here comes the mess. Do you have to restart that count?
Nah. I'm just not answering. So that's
okay. You're not answering.
Shoot.
You're not gonna answer me. You're not gonna answer me. Hey.
It took you 29 days to call me, brother. Bye. Like,
talk about it. Go ahead. Yeah, let us know.
So I hear you chiming in, Bree. What do you think? A month? A month is a little too late. Just right.
No, I think a month is. I feel like give yourself at least a month of just like, getting to know you, getting over that period, grieving the end of the relationship, going through those
a month flies by in the right places.
It does, but a lot happens in a New York minute, you know? So
what you about to say, Leon? I know Leon about to come in here with the
No. I mean, I agree with Jen in that I don't think it has to or should be linear. But I also am very realistic, right? Time and the way that we quantify it is a way we use to measure things, right? So it's not like we can act like it doesn't exist.
Very, very observantly, yeah.
Right. I know, right? It's crazy.
Good job.
Right. So what I would say is I would look at maybe 3 months of just, not necessarily being a monk, but just
reflecting, kind of healing,
writing, maybe speak to a therapist or speak to a therapist more, and not necessarily be looking to engage in that way. And then if you choose to do that, because obviously you are your own person, nobody's telling you what to do. But if you choose to, communicate it, and let that person or those people know where you're at. Because even if you think you are ready, no matter where you're at, you're still going to find things that are going to remind you, hey, I'm not ready yet. I thought I was, right? And you don't want to be getting someone else emotionally invested in you. And now, and now you have to deal with that on top of having to deal with your own personal stuff still. So,
No, go ahead. Finish your thought.
I was just gonna say, because I was thinking, I often go back to my marriage, when I used to be married, and we were together for roughly 7 years, right? And so I was just like thinking about that was all my 20s basically. So I hadn't even grown into becoming a man yet, really. And now I'm out there single, no longer tied to anybody. And I honestly didn't know what to do. Like, I was just kind of like shell shocked. So I had to take that time to reflect, and I didn't get the answers right. I messed up, and even now, I often reflect back at that time and say, I could have done things differently and saved myself and few other people some heartbreak by just being to myself a little bit longer.
So let me ask Shanice, what are your thoughts on that length of time? Because Leon brought up a very good point with, it depends on how much work you think is required to actually heal. Do you think that 3 to 4 month time period is enough time to, if you really are devoted to doing, like you said, that deep shadow work, that deep emotional work? or do you feel like it all depends on just every individual case, how long you were in the relationship, when it ended, things of that nature?
For me, I would say 3 to 6 months. I agree with Leon, and I say that because
Trish, what you laughing at? Come on now.
I say that because of my own experiences. When I was just going out there after a breakup and finding relationships like dating within a month or two, that would just cause more problems because I wasn't really processing what I've been through. I wasn't learning. I wasn't growing from it. I didn't give myself that time. And that's where the problem was coming in at. So yeah, I would say 3 to 6 months.
Okay. Hassan, you with us? I want to ask, because Hassan, you got a very, very unique, well, not unique, but a very good perspective from just your life. Do you think different relationships require different time of healing? Let's say you are all fire and passion.
I do believe that different relationships, because each one is individual and its own entity, its own dimension. So it's not going to be the same in anyone. It's like we may heal. Well, I know that I've healed from some relationships faster than others, and some they were like I went 5 years and I still hadn't ironed out all of the wrinkles that was impressed upon my psyche and my emotional state. I thought I had healed at different points, only to find that it was really a drawn out process. Right? I was in a relationship. I actually broke up. I got in another relationship later in 2013, but I really didn't get over that relationship of 2013 until years later because there were chapters that just wasn't closed.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Let me throw this into the mix because I feel like this may have been something. Does the nature of how you feel about the breakup play into it? Like how much, like if you feel guilty about something that led to the breakup, does that play in how long it takes to heal or the ability to get
guilt, shame, unresolved issues? It depends on, it would depend also on my mental, spiritual states as well, But as I mentioned, every situation has been different. I mean, as a young man, I was married, and we had a nasty separation even before the divorce, and I immediately plunged into something else to the point where I drowned out the emotions that I had for my wife, and I submerged myself into this other relationship, never closing out the relationship I have with my wife, and then without closure, things kind of stay open, they linger, and it leaves the door open for other emotional entanglements to just baffle and disseminate the brain, right, and the subconscious without me being conscious of it. So it could be really messy, it has been very messy for me with relationships because I often didn't know when the passion for one ended and began for another one, and then if that happened, in addition to my habit of always having multiple relationships, that made it even more complex. Where I believe that often I was just dead emotionally, going through the motions and going through the pursuit of physical gratifications. It wasn't emotional; it was physical. Yeah. So I often quantified the quality of a relationship to the value of our physical interactions.
Got it.
The emotional part was like way back on my list.
It wasn't a high priority. Yeah.
Not at all. Bro.
So let me ask, and I want to get final thoughts because a lot of what you say always is multi-layered, and your answers to signing is deeper than just the words because it cuts through, like I said, to layers that really resonate beyond just what you're talking about. But I definitely wanted to get last thoughts and from Jen, coming from a coaching perspective, when you are faced with, not being able to quote unquote deal with the baggage or the emotional trauma of a breakup in that moment, do we, as Hassan painted, do we fall into that trap sometimes of going back to our coping mechanisms, or which is different for everybody, right? Everybody has different. Is that something? Because like he said, he wasn't even aware of what he was doing, but he sought it because at the time it was an easier task than having to face the healing work that came along with the end of his marriage.
So much of what we do is happening in our subconscious mind. So I think that, if the goal is to have the next relationship be healthier than the last one, or better suited for me as an individual, or that kind of thing, then I think we need to think about attraction as an iceberg, and that most of what's happening between two people is happening below the surface, and we don't have conscious awareness of it sometimes. And so if we end a relationship and hop right into another really serious relationship, because I think that's really what we're talking about here, then I think we don't get the chance to really understand what happened under the surface, and then we repeat. That's why you see people date like the
same person.
It's like different. He looks different, or he seems different, and then we date 6 months, and all of a sudden I realize you're the same.
Okay. Leon, you saying, what are your last thoughts on this?
I think that, overarching, we all kind of feel, even though maybe have given different time frames, ultimately in all of our individual experiences, we all do recognize that there has to be some amount of time, however long it is, some amount of time for you to reflect and work on yourself. Because something Hassan said earlier that resonated with me is that, I oftentimes went into things not even realizing that's what I was doing. Right. I was just, trying to fill a void, or, just wanting to be in something for the sake of being in something, because, companionship is like a drug too, just knowing that somebody's there is addictive, and, if you're not kind of doing the sort of self-work that's necessary to understand, like, okay, what are my triggers? What are the things that I haven't completely healed from? If you don't do that, then what you're basically going to do is kind of be going into the next situation blindly.
Like you said, repeating those patterns.
Those patterns. And
it ain't me. Can't be me.
At some point, because when you're younger, I think it's kind of okay. But you're in your 30s, going into your 40s, like you got to start.
Hey, listen, maturity hits people at different stages.
Absolutely.
You got 12-year-olds out there that's going on 50. You got 50-year-olds out there who still think they 17.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
it all goes. It's all relative. Bree, you wanna share? I'm on Team Bree. Same day. Like, listen, I ain't got time. I'm on Team Bree. I can heal and be in the next one. I
just want to be provocative
at the same time.
Listen, my advice to anyone is, yes, heal, most definitely. Take that time to figure out yourself, but don't completely block yourself away from interacting and getting to know the other things that you do want. Like, it doesn't mean that you have to be in a relationship with this person, or you even have to think about getting into a relationship with this person. Have fun. That's a part of healing too, is learning to have fun, learning, how to have these interactions, learning your boundaries, like that is also a part of the healing. So for me, when I say date and, go ahead and do those things within that healing process, get to know people, like, it doesn't mean that the outcome has to be, we're going to be in a relationship and potentially get married. Like, the outcome could be, hey, we're just going to be friends, maybe a little bit of benefits. That's cool too. Like, that's a part of the healing process.
I think me and Bree got a coalition going on between me and you. So anytime you got something going on, you're like, hey, let's go. I'm like, hey, let's go. Right. Let's go. You ain't even got to be fully out of the relationship yet. Now I'll roll.
Real quick though, with you next dayers, okay, that you can just jump into something.
Here we go.
Yeah, that's right. I'm gonna ask you a very serious question.
Might have to save it for the next one, but go ahead.
That's fine. That's fine. No matter whether you really agree with it or not, how comfortable are you with aloneness? You know, because
but that's a part of the healing. That's
so
not saying that's
let's table that one. Let's table that. Let's table that. Bree, say your piece, and then we're gonna table that because I think that's a great topic to bring into another podcast, and we definitely gonna have y'all two on here battling it out.
That's
Me
cool.
and Trish gonna sit in the back and just be egging on Trish team Bree. I'm team Leon. Trish, you with that?
I'm with that. You know.
All right, so Bree, save all your tea. Save all your tea for the next one because we're gonna let you go at Leon on that one.
Go for it.
So Trish, you with me? Me and Trish, we want to thank you guys. We want to thank our co-hosts. We want to thank producers Anna Banana and K.I. from Bedstuy. We want to thank all of and in the words, Trish, you got any last?
No, peace, love, and great rebounds.
Great rebounds. Okay, Shanice said, get to work, healing yourself. All right. So with that being said, in the words of K.I., slow motion. See y'all next time.
All right, now.
Good one.
Peace.
Hey, thank you, everybody. I really want to thank y'all. That was great. I was back here grinning from ear to ear. Thanks, Shanice, for coming on. See, I knew you weren't going to be able to resist not chiming in because the topics are always hot and heavy. Leon, I really like your last question, and we should definitely table that for the beginning of another podcast. And it's fire when Bree takes herself and puts herself on video so we can see her. I was rolling. So yeah, thank y'all once again. Happy New Year, everybody, and see you all on the next one.
You've been listening to Talk It Over, the only dating relationship podcast that begins in bed. We hope you got what you needed. Make sure you subscribe. Holla at you next week.